WTVG Toledo, Bridges, with your host, Donnie Miller, connecting our community with information about issues and opportunities.
Hey, good Sunday morning and welcome to Bridges. I'm so glad that you chose to spend this time with us. We're going to be talking to you today about an organization that you've seen on this show before, but they're one of my favorites. It's United Way of Greater Toledo, and it's really important that you pay attention to what they have to say today. You would be amazed, let me just say it that way, at the number of ways that this organization has an impact on our community, from food banks to healthcare providers. United Way has their name all over them, and they do because of you. And we want to talk to you today about why your participation in the United Way campaign is so critical to this community. And doing that with us is the formidable Karen Matheson. I forgot your name for a minute. I was so intimidated, I just forgot her name for a second. Who's the CEO of United Way of Greater Toledo. Welcome this morning. Thank you so much for being with us. I appreciate that. And Nancy Joy, you've been with us before.
Yes.
You were a volunteer with the Community Solutions team.
Yep. The Education
United
Community
Way.
Solution team is where I focus my energy at.
Okay. Lots of things going on in education in this town.
There is
right
a
now.
huge amount of things going on. I mean, if you think at the schools right now, we've got social emotional learning, which is really helping teachers and staff, how they educate and how they really work with all these kids and all the issues they bring to the classroom besides just learning. We have the hub programs going on. There's so much happening.
And you're so excited. You're just like way ahead of me, jumping right into that. Okay,
that's the way I am.
Yeah, that's okay. We're glad to have that. But let's start out by talking about the 10 days of giving, because I know that that's something that you all are focused on this morning and right now at United Way, and you want to share that information with folks that are watching. So what exactly are the 10 days of giving?
The 10 days of giving really is a campaign ask out to the entire community to invite people to give to United Way of Greater Toledo to make sure that every child, all families, have access to education, to financial independence, and to health care. And United Way of Greater Toledo works with so many organizations and so many parts of the community to make sure that when you make a gift to United Way of Greater Toledo, it stays local, and it does so much to help so many different organizations and the people that they serve. So this is really an ask to the community. For those who haven't yet given to the campaign, they still have an opportunity to help us reach our goal of serving more and doing more together.
Yeah, and that's really important. We're talking specifically to you folks who haven't yet given, or those folks who find that they might have a little more money that they don't quite know what to do with right about this time of year. Christmas bills are paid and all that. We want you to consider giving it to United Way. How do they go about giving? Do they call? Do they send a check?
Well, a couple of things are making it really easy for people right now. They can visit our website, unitedwaytoledo.org/give, and there'll be an easy to fill out pledge card. Electronically, they can make that work. In the paper today, there is a pledge card in the Blade that invites people to clip that out, fill it out, and just mail it in to us.
That's pretty cool.
It is really cool. And then they can also, if they want, call us. We can take a gift over the phone. They could mail a check into our address at 424 Jackson Street here in Toledo, and feel confident that their gift really is an investment in the work that happens across Lucas, Wood, and Ottawa County.
What are some of the biggest needs that you guys are seeing in the county right now? Some of the biggest unmet needs?
Well, clearly there is, I think it's twofold. One, it's how do we help people meet their basic needs of food, clothing, and shelter. And we know that this winter has been hard on people and organizations, right? So how do we help people when they fall down or fall through the cracks? So food, clothing, and shelter. At the same time, how do we help kids and families move their life forward? I think of that as the net and then the ladder.
Absolutely.
So how do we help people climb the ladder forward in their life? So financial coaching, helping people manage their money, budget well. How do we help people get connected to the free tax program that's going on right now, which infuses their pocketbooks with local with tax credits that they then spend here locally? And then how do we also help people move forward with job training? How do we help kids be successful in school? Kids and families access health care. So there's a lot.
There's a lot. There's a lot going on. Nancy,
There is a lot going on. And all of these programs that are going on are not just randomly decided. who works with them. You have a group of volunteers from across the community that come together to look at all the dollars that you donate and determine what programs are going to best meet the needs of the families in our community. And it's everything from, I was talking about the schools as hubs, providing health care, getting eye exams to kids. We had, I think it was like 400 kids go through eye exams last year, and 85% of them, I think, needed glasses or had some sort of eye deficiency.
Amazing? Yeah,
and
it's amazing.
think if your dollars hadn't come in, those eye exams wouldn't happen. If those eye exams hadn't happened, then they couldn't be successful in school. So it's really just amazing how all of this just connects one to the next. We have backpack programs on the weekends where we send kids home with food for the weekends. We have the mobile meals that come out to the various schools and these hub schools that help as well as all the educational things that are going on, from working in the daycares to help them improve their processes, to have children ready to go to school when they come to kindergarten, already knowing their ABCs and their 1, 2, 3s and some basic words.
Yeah, one of the things that I think is sometimes it's easy for some of us to forget is that there really are people in this community who are having the most difficult time day to day managing to make those ends meet. I'll tell you guys a story that I know you haven't heard yet, and it came from one of your United Way funded agencies where you actually fund social work at the agency. A gentleman walked in who was homeless 2 weeks ago in the middle of that storm, that awful snowstorm that we had. No sole on his shoe. So he walked into the agency with just the top of his shoe on. Frostbitten toes. The physician that was working with him immediately got him new clothes. The social worker organized getting the clothes for him, getting him cleaned up, and they actually couldn't find shoes in that particular clinic in his size because he had like a size 13 or 14 shoe and they didn't have them that size. The social worker actually facilitated getting the shoes for that gentleman so that he would not have to be returned to the street with no shoes, which I don't think they would have done anyway. But it was because of that social worker's presence, along with a really great team at that particular facility, that they managed to save that person from further damage to that foot, extreme damage to that foot. And I think we don't think about, the real lives that United Way actually touches on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
Would you agree?
I would agree. And, last year we directly touched 225,000 people here in Lucas Wood and Ottawa County. But when my child goes to school with a child who's hungry, my child is impacted.
That's right.
And so directly or indirectly, we're all impacted by each other. And when you're successful, I'm more successful.
Right.
And I think that's the really power of United Way. It's about really connecting the carrying power of people to improve lives. And when your life is improved, I stand taller with you. And this 10 days of giving really is about helping people recognize that together we make this community stronger, and that together your gift adds up with my gift, and we can do a lot more together.
How are people made comfortable with the fact, how do you make people comfortable with the fact that the money that they donate actually goes to services and doesn't go to fund some administrative costs?
I think the biggest thing that we have going for us is volunteers.
Right. There are volunteer committees throughout United Way, and there's the 3 focus areas: education, income, and health. And each of those focus areas has a committee. These are volunteers from across the community, from different social economic backgrounds, from different racial backgrounds, from religious backgrounds, and they come together, they look at the budget that's allocated, and then they say, okay, what are the programs or the strategies that we want to fund? So do we want to fund social emotional learning and put these tools in the teacher's hands so they can work with the kids? Do we want to fund in the health community backpack meals or eye exams or hearing exams, things along that line? And do we want to fund in the income world financial literacy courses? And so as these volunteers decide where these dollars are going, then they also go out twice a year, evaluate those programs to see how effective that they really are.
That's a really great point. Can we stop there for just a minute? Because I think it's really important for people to understand that you're just not throwing your money to the wind. These organizations are are vetted through a number of various
Right.
committees inside of United Way, and then they are held accountable through outcome measures.
There are outcome measures, so they actually submit a written report to us, and there are agreed upon metrics that will be measured. And then there's the physical visit to the agency and the program to see how well it's working. And then those volunteers come back and discuss it, and they determine, do we continue funding with them? Do we decrease funding, or do we increase funding?
So there really is an opportunity if an organization is not effectively using your funds for that organization to lose your funds.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's really important for people to know.
Yeah, and I think that really helps us make sure that we can then go back to the donor to say, we hold ourselves accountable, we hold our organizations that we partner with accountable, but ultimately, as a donor, you can hold us accountable to make sure that we deliver lasting change here in the greater Toledo area of Lucas, Wood, and Ottawa County to make sure that people's lives are improved, that we're not just feeding them fish, that we're teaching them how to fish.
Absolutely. That's cool. That's cool. How long have you been here now with us?
I have been here for about 14 months.
Don't you love it?
I do. It's a great place. It's a great
absolutely
place.
a great place. Keep that thought close to your heart. We're going to go away for just a second, and we will be right back, I promise.